mic stand, and you're thinking, nah, that guy's going to stay up there, I'm going to sit in the back. Well, guess what? I have a wireless microphone, so I can move around and talk to people and do whatever I want. I'd like to welcome the freshman parents to our freshman parent orientation. We're kind of doing something different tonight. We're being recorded. So Mr. Stuber's going to run the projector. We got a little microphone up on the by the laptop.
We have viewers tuned in from around the world.
Yeah, we are screencast. What is that?
Screencast.
Screencast. So just by a show of hands, how many in here, this is your first son or daughter at Arrowhead? Oh, well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. All right, you want to hit the slide? Tonight, you're going to get a presentation by the three counselors. Your son or daughter is assigned a counselor by the virtue of their last name. Mr. Stuber has students with last names A through G. Mrs. White, in the back, has students with last names H through O. And I am Mike Ward. I have students with P through Z. If you've had any dealings with the counseling office, the lady who kind of keeps us in line is Linda Kempen. She's the secretary at South Campus. Kind of an overview of tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about what freshman conference overview is and what's in a freshman conference, and then we're going to talk about some other things, and then at the end we're going to have questions and answers. All right, and as usual, the three counselors will stick around after the presentation. If you have a personal question, we'll be around, okay? So, conference format. Starting next week, a little bit, and the week after for sure, Mrs. Kempen is going to assign 3 students to meet with their counselor. It's random. The students are selected. She notifies the students out of their study hall. We post it up in the study hall. We put it out for about a week ahead. And we also put it in front of the counseling office. Because your son or daughter's kind of gone to the one device, we may also put it on their email, their Arrowhead email address. I'm not quite sure how many students check their Arrowhead email, so that's not reliable. But they will be notified through study hall. We do probably 4 conferences a day, 3 to 4 conferences a day. So it takes us a while to go through 561 students. Okay, so it's assigned 3 students at a time. It's kind of a small group. We do a little icebreaker, and then we move on to talk about Arrowhead. Students will receive a folder, and I'm going to talk about what's in that folder. The reason we have the parent meeting is to inform you that they're going to get a folder. Because when they leave our office, the folder goes in the backpack, and it may never come out, okay? So we're informing you that the students are going to get a folder. We also are going to advise them to bring their own device to the conference. This is something new, and Mr. Stuber's going to talk a little bit about that. What's in the folder? Basically, counseling information. We're going to introduce ourselves and kind of what we do in the office and how we be assistance to them. Naviance information sheet. Mr. Stuber's going to talk about that. Clubs and activities. I can't stress the importance of being involved at Arrowhead. Statistics have shown that students that are involved in clubs and activities excel in the classroom. Get involved. I am a firm believer that I can find a club or activity for every kid in the freshman class. All right? So we try to promote clubs and activities, and we kind of give them some timelines. Transcript information. Mrs. White's going to talk about that, but we do tell them your high school transcript starts 3 weeks ago, okay? And that is for life, all right? After Arrow handout, we talk about graduation requirements, okay? Oh, the roller coaster. Oh, I do want to say one other thing in the freshman conference. Because the student will have their device there, we are going to review their second semester schedule. Okay, it's their responsibility to look at it, to make adjustments. We will try adjustments. An example is if your son or daughter has second hour study hall every day, and then they have third and fourth hour study hall every other day, some days they're going to have 3 study halls in a row. We try to correct that. So also give your son or daughter a chance to look at their second semester schedule. All right.
All right. Welcome, guys, again. Thank you so much for coming. The role of a school counselor, we don't just do scheduling. We do a lot. We do a lot of stuff with the kids. The first thing is the social, emotional needs. We're here for your students. We understand high school is a big transition. We're their go-to person. We're somebody that they can connect with at all times. We're here for their academic concerns as well, and then their academic and career planning. We talk a lot about that in the next 4 years, about planning what they want to do after high school. Why students should get to know their counselors. It's very important for us to get to know us. It helps us to know your student and also to know your students' needs. How can we help them to be successful in high school? Also, it's great to know us for helping with letters of recommendations, for referrals of employment, and it teaches the kids the self-advocacy. Now is the time for kids to try to get their strength to go ahead and start talking to us adults. Because when they get to college, we're not going to be there. Hopefully mom and dad won't be there. They need to start learning their self-advocacy skills.
And just to add to that as well, oftentimes for freshmen, when we make contact with parents, that's really good. When get to sophomore year and it's still the parents that are asking for a schedule change, that's where we tend to respond from that point on, like, have your son or daughter come in during their study hall and let's talk. That's pretty much how that goes sophomore year.
All right, our transcripts, just like Mr. Ward said, grades count now. They're starting to count now, or 3 weeks ago. Key points about the transcript is your GPA. The GPA is very important, and we're going to explain at the bottom there how you can add up your GPA. Courses that are being taken are important. Make sure it's based on your interests. Make sure your student doesn't take art survey because their best friend's taking art survey. Make sure your student takes the classes that they want to take, that they're interested in. Credits earned, remember you do need 50 credits to graduate, and we're going to go over that in a couple minutes. What is the transcript used for? It's for our high school graduation requirements. Again, it's for our post-secondary applications, colleges, technical school. It's always stored at Arrowhead for life. So even if you graduated in 1976, it's here. Your transcript is always going to be there. To calculate your GPA, an A is a 4, B is a 3, C is a 2, a D is a 1, and an F is a 0. The minuses and plus, you don't do anything with. It's just the letter grades. So you add those up and divide by how many classes they're taking, and that will equal to their GPA. This is what a transcript looks like. And none of the freshmen obviously will have one yet. They won't get a transcript until the first semester is completed. Transcripts only record semester grades. So not progress reports, not exams, only semester grades. So if you notice, the first column is semester 1 and the second column is that semester 2.
Another thing to tell them too with this is, this is a very good visual aid for kids to see that this is their freshman year. My pointer is really dull. There's our freshman year, here's sophomore year, here's junior year, and then the question is when are kids usually applying to college or their post-secondary education? Usually right in this area, right? Junior year, the end of junior year. So it helps them to see that they really only have 6 sets of grades from the beginning of high school to the time they apply to college. Really 6 sets of grades. So right while they're sitting there, they can see that 1/6 of what they're doing right now accounts for 1/6 of what colleges are looking at. And so I think it's helpful for kids to see it that way. Next.
At the bottom of each transcript then, it'll say the cumulative points or credits earned and the GPA. Notice it says it's a 3.2 cumulative or GPA. Again, those are all the B's and A's. You add them up together, divided by the total of classes they're taking at the time, and that starts their GPA. Graduating requirements. Each class at Arrowhead is 1 credit a semester, except if week here at Arrowhead, and the kids really like. It is gender specific. It's really funny though when the kids go into class, they look around, there's no girls, or there's no boys in the class. It's gender specific. The kids love it. It's really nice. It does actually work out really good. And then there's 2 credits of fine arts. Anything in the art classes or the choir equals the fine arts, and 18 additional credits that equal the 50 to graduate.
The additional credits piece, just want to talk about how you make those.
Anything beyond the minimum requirements here equals the additional credits. Also, if you notice, world language is not on here. World language is not a graduating requirement for Arrowhead. In the state of Wisconsin, only 2 schools require you to have a foreign language in order for you guys to apply to that school, and that's UW-Madison and UW-Eau Claire. And those are minimum 2 years of a foreign language. Now, I'm only emphasizing the minimum. They obviously recommend higher than the minimum to apply to those schools. Is it on you? Oh, no, it's me. Sorry, Skyward. I was thinking that's right. Skyward, how many of you guys have had Skyward in the past in the other feeder schools?
Nice.
Majority of you guys. A lot of you guys have used Skyward before. We're really emphasizing for our students to start owning their own classes, owning their own grades. So we're making sure that they get onto Skyward, they know their login information. We want them to start looking at their grades, looking at assignments that they might be missing, asking questions about certain assignments. So please make sure they check, along with you guys, checking on Skyward once in a while to make sure those grades are up there, those assignments are put in that needs to be put in. Now, when I say this, do not check every day because teachers will not be updating it every day. Check it once a week to make sure it's updated. Just kind of a heads up.
Skyward piece can be tough, and we hear it too, because things just, we've gotten quicker at notifying kids and parents what grades are, but teachers haven't got any faster in grading things because they're already, they have to be in class all day, and then after class it's already 3:30 and they're trying to get papers graded. So Skyward is very fast, but it's only as fast as how fast the teacher grades whatever the assignment is. So just be aware that there are a couple of days in there, just like there always have been. When things were paper and pencil and all that, it still takes a little bit of time for grades to get back. So it can be difficult. If you have a question, like if you're not sure if your student turned in something, the best way to get an immediate answer would be probably just to email that teacher or give them a call and leave a voicemail during the day, and they're really pretty good about getting back to parents in general. So that would probably be the best way if there's a question mark on whether or not something was turned in. One more thing I wanted to, that actually just dawned on me here, if we go back to the graduation requirements, the math requirement is has just changed this year. So actually students need 6 credits of math starting with this class. And it's not going to affect many kids at all because most kids take math all 4 years that they're here. But just so you are all aware, actually this 4 is supposed to be a 6. So it's being changed in the course guide, but that's a very, very recent thing that's come out. So just be aware of that. Okay, so this is the part of the conference that's kind of more enjoyable and a little bit more fun for us counselors too, because we get to talk to your kids and get to know them a little bit, what their interests are and where they kind of want to head, where they want to go for their futures. So I've been doing this job for not all that long, a few years. I'll tell you the first response I got when I asked a student what they wanted to do for a career, and I can't make this up, guys. I want to become a WWE wrestler. That was the first kid I've ever asked. That was their response. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I just got my master's degree. I am very trained to be I'm ready, And here's the answer I get. It's like, wow, I'm not really ready for this. I don't know what to tell you. So, these are the kinds of things we hear from your kids, and it's fun. So, you try your best to entertain anything you hear as a response. It's, I think if I remember correctly, my response was something along the lines of, okay, so then how would you get there? If that, so let's say that's your dream. Then let's talk about how you would get there. Because that's really what we're trying to help kids see is no matter what it is you want to become, Hulk Hogan, whatever it is, there's a path to get there. And if you don't know the path to get there, what do you suppose the chances are of you actually getting there? And so that's what we try and really reiterate to these kids. And we're not the first to have tried this, I'm sure, as you probably know, but it's nice for them to hear it from someone besides their parents, where parents are at home doing their thing, and we're here telling them the same message. It just works that way. So, looking at, and they see this is part of the folder as well. They see their options here. There's more than just a 4-year college for kids, and not every student is like 4-year college. That's not a passion for every student. And these days, with the cost of tuition and all that, it's not even sometimes the best option. So really sitting down and talking to your student about what options are actually there besides that sort of stereotypical I'm going to Madison answer, because Madison is a great school, but it's not necessarily for every single student. We have a great couple of secondary colleges in this area that put out really great results year after year. WCTC, you go there for 2 years, you pay half of what you pay at a state school, and you come out making a really good living wage, doing something that hopefully you really enjoy. So it's really the biggest part of this conference that we're trying to get to is figure out what you want, not necessarily what you think people want you to say or what you want your parents to know. What do you want? What are your interests? What are your skills? And then let's go with that. So there's more options, and these are really the 4 main options that we hit when we get into this piece. So from here, we usually go around and ask each student kind of like, okay, where are you at with this? Where do you think you might be headed? From this point, we show them the new Navins program that we've just kind of gotten rolling, and we're starting to roll out with students. I would like to just kind of show you this program a little bit. So raise your hand if you've heard of Navins. Okay, keep your hand raised, and then raise your hand if you've heard of academic and career planning, if you've heard that term before. Okay, so academic and career plans is like the newest buzzword in our state. We're trying our best to get every student on board with having an academic and career plan, basically meaning, where am I now, what are my skills, and where do I want to end up? And then how might I get to that point? The academic career plan is supposed to change. It's designed so that kids can change their mind. It's not a set track. That's like the last thing we want to do, right? We don't want to say, freshman year, the kid says he wants to become a dentist, and then sophomore year, he wants to try and change his mind. We say, no, you said dentist. That is definitely not what we're trying to do. It's fluid, and it changes whenever their thoughts change. Because the idea of the academic and career plan is not to make the plan and stick to the plan. It is to increase knowledge of what's out there for options. That's the point. And that can be accomplished whether it changes 1 time, 0 times, or 1,000 times. So this is the website, and I'm going to quick go in here. Just so you guys know, I want to show you where to locate this website. Every one of our freshman students, well, I should say this, any freshman who attended Wings has already logged into this program and seen what it has. If your student did not attend Wings, they probably haven't seen it yet, but they still have a login. So what you would do is you would go to our website, click on the Counseling and Careers link right here, and then it's right here, Navins. And then there's kind of like a little blurb. If you'd like to watch, there's a video here. This is the video the students watched in Wings. If you click on this Navins icon here, we're not going to watch that though. This is the login page. I don't want to log in as myself. Typing one-handed is not my strong suit, but we'll get there. Okay, so here's Wally Warhawk. This is exactly the view your student will get when they log in. This is Wally Warhawk's, basically his profile. So this is only Wally Warhawk's space. The way that students navigate through is with these tabs on top. So there's 5 tabs. Courses, that is a course planner. They can start to look at what courses we have at Arrowhead and select courses that might best fit the plan of where they might be headed. and it is all specific to Arrowhead, and we have plans in there, like marketing is in there, engineering is in there, culinary is in there. There's a few different plans that are in there, and we're continuing to develop that piece. So course planning is kind of a neat thing. The colleges tab is really just a great resource to search for colleges. So this super match right here is like a really good place to start when you're looking at what colleges might be out there. This includes tech colleges. This includes colleges all across the country. And it looks like this. Here it is. It looks like this. Every time, on the left here, these are filters on the left, these orange things here. So every time you change something on here, it populates a list of colleges in that fit your search criteria. So if you only want to go to school in the Midwest, and you know that for a fact, most kids want to get out of here. But anyway, we'll tell you it's the Midwest, then these are all the schools in the Midwest. If you want to narrow it down further, and you say, okay, Midwest, yeah, but Illinois, no, because I hate the Bears. Okay, then they're gone. And the Vikings are no good. Okay, they're gone. And then we go down here and we say, it's also important to me that they have a major of, throw out a major, somebody. Finance. They have a finance major. We really want to look at finance. Click on all finance majors, because there's different types of finance majors. Now here are all the schools in the Midwest, excluding Minnesota and Illinois, that have a finance major. So, talk about a place to start. And I've been there. It's scary thinking, man, there's like 1,000 colleges out there. How am I ever going to narrow it down? Here's a great place to start. And if they find a college they like, University of Findlay. Anybody know that? No one went to Findlay, did they? Okay. Probably because you didn't have this program. All right. So you can go in. They have a bio here, University of Findlay, and this school is not very well known, so I doubt they're going to have much actually. But the cool thing is you can save it as a favorite. Add this college to my colleges I'm thinking about. Now, University of Findlay is saved into Wally Warhawk's thing, so every time he goes back in, he can see, oh yeah, I did say that school was one of my favorites. So it's a really nice place. And then once you have a list of schools that are your favorites, you can compare them too, and it gives you a lot of cool ways to do that. So that's the colleges tab. The careers tab is basically just a career search that's all housed within your profile, and you can save careers that you find interesting to you as well. So that's about as complicated as that one gets. This is down here, Road Trip Nation. Basically, Road Trip Nation is there's about five college students. They graduated from undergrad, and they said to themselves, now what should we do? And none of them had a real answer to that, so they decided to take a road trip around the country and interview people in their jobs and ask them how they got there, what strengths they have that got them there, what was their outlook on life when they were in college. Some really useful questions that now people in the profession are answering. It's just a really useful thing for kids to see. So there's been students who have gone in here and found videos, because there's tons of videos that none of us have seen yet, and we all kind of, sometimes we're all huddled around the same computer watching this video of some person in the workforce that is just saying, like, giving a really good message to our kids. So that's a really neat place to go. And then these are interest inventories. These are good, but we're going to be doing a lot of these with the kids in classes too. So if they do it at home, that's fine, but just so they know, they might be redoing it when we have them do it in class. So they may hold off on those. And then here's where they would go and save. So I've saved a bunch of careers for Wally over the past few months. Here's Wally's favorite careers, and then favorite career clusters too. Career clusters are clusters of jobs. There's 17 of those, and the idea is that every job fits into a career cluster, one of 17 career clusters. So you can save a career cluster, or you can save an actual career. Either way, that's the careers tab. About me is just kind of where it's all housed. You have everything in here that you've done with the careers side, the colleges side. There's a really neat couple of really neat things in this About Me tab too. There's a resume builder. And I will show you guys this because adults seem to think this is more entertaining than students. I created a resume for Wally Warhawk, and here it is. And again, students don't laugh at this, but I think it's hilarious. So, yeah, the kids just, they don't seem to get it. But so he's got some skills. He's been flying since 1999. And if you want to know more, or if you want someone to vouch for his character, you should call Big Bird. He's delivered babies from 2011. So anyway, so this they can build themselves. And they can do that right here. They can add fields as they go. A lot of kids are like, what's a resume? Right? So even if they see this, they at least say, oh, that's a resume. And if they want to build it, then go ahead and let them do it, and it saves itself. They can come back to it. But at the very least, they're seeing what it is, like, and potentially why they might need one someday. So that's all there too. There's also a space in the About Me tab to set goals. So you could set any type of goal, academic goal, a social goal, a college goal, whatever you want to do, you can set in here, and it would be a SMART goal. So it wouldn't just be like try harder. It would be try harder, and then how are you going to do it? Who's going to hold you to it? When are you going to be done by? And specifically, what does it mean to try harder? So it's going to really break down the goals for the kids. So a lot of these things kids are going to get in pieces throughout their time at Arrowhead, because we're going into classrooms and doing a lot of this stuff, but it's good for them to see it. And the most important thing is when kids think about their futures, we want them to know that this is here, because it's just a really great resource for them. So please help us with that. You can talk to them about this. Parents are, in the near future, going to have their own login to this. Not yet. We're not ready to do that yet, but there will be a time where parents can log in and see their students, what they've done in here. For now, you're going to have to just hound your kid about the password, and then you can get in. Actually, I'll tell you the password. So the username is the student's email address, and then the password is their student ID number. And that's actually on my next slide, so I'll go back now. So it's pretty easy, right? Their login is their email address, and that includes the suffix at arrowheadschools.org. And then their password is their ID number, which is like a 5-digit number, the same number they punch in for lunch. Okay, so I got to find my place here now. Okay, so that's the Naviance piece, and that does take up a little bit of time in these conferences because there's just so much there, and we try and show them what we can. So then we also want to tell them about the ACT Aspire test, because this is new. Does anybody know or have heard about, has anyone heard about the Aspire test? Okay, wow, nice. Yeah, so the Aspire test is new. It's new for everybody in the state of Wisconsin because we are mandated to give this test to kids now. Freshmen get it twice. They get it once in the fall, which is going to be in October 13th, 14th, and then 16th and 17th, and then they're going to get it again in the spring. Sophomores will take it once. This is a computer-based test. 5 subjects: English, math, reading, science, and writing. So there's nothing they have to do to really prepare for this besides just do well in their classes. But the idea with, now they've changed, this takes over the Explore and the Plan tests. So your student probably took the Plan test the Explore test last year in 8th grade. This test is being administered all the way down to 3rd grade. So the idea is we're going to get a picture of where kids are trending from 3rd grade on as opposed to 8th grade on. Not that that helps you guys, unless you have a younger kid in 3rd grade or something. But it's not going to really necessarily help your freshmen all that much because they're already freshmen. But if you had a 3rd grader, it would really, the idea would be that it would really help them. So it's something that the state has moved to. We have no choice. We have to give it. And it's been a lot of work on our end too to try and figure out how to cycle that many kids through the computer labs to take this test. But we're getting it done. So that's coming up on the 13th and 14th. So we just want to remind kids about that. If they don't get their freshman conference till after that, it's totally fine because we'll just remind them about the spring date as well. And we'll have a lot of reminders going out about these dates too. So that's there as well. In case anyone's curious, those are late starts. So the kids who are testing come at 7:20, and then the rest of the class will come at 10:16. Will be the start of that day. Okay. We also tell the students about a WEF fair, and these are, you've probably, if you walk the hallways, you've seen these posters. They're like everywhere in the building. I can't quite remember how many colleges are going to be. Mr. Ward, do you know how many colleges are going to be at the WEF?
Coach Stuber, over 100. Over 100. We counted them today. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be over 100 college, university, technical schools, secondary schools right here in our backyard, right in the commons. Can I talk a little bit?
Go ahead. You want the mic here?
They're going to be in the commons. I don't know if the University of Findlay's going to be there. I tried to say.
We called it. We didn't return our calls.
It's a great opportunity for your son or daughter to gather information. Let's fast forward high school career a little bit. Senior year. Seniors are applying to college right now. Right now. College, technical schools, whatever. Some secondary universities or some universities and colleges shut off taking college applications November 1st. So senior year is a whirlwind. Junior year, you will meet with your counselors, go junior time. Junior year, it's kind of start time to visit some schools. Freshman and sophomore year, it's time to start looking at colleges and universities for whatever reason. Okay? Please, please understand that senior year, September 15th is opening day, and for some college universities, November 1st it shuts down. We would never want to have one of our students get shut up because they were late, because they didn't do their work ahead of time, because they didn't do the research. So WEF is a great time to come here and just start gathering information. And again, there's going to be over 100 college, university, technical schools, secondary schools, specialty schools, everything right here in the Commons.
Yes, very exciting, Mr. Ward, right? So yeah, and then just make sure you register online before the fair. What they have is then you have like a barcode, you take that around, and then the colleges will scan the barcode, and they automatically have all your information that way. So it's a lot better than you having to sign, 1,000 times your phone number and address and name and everything. So they just scan it, and then you're good, and you go on your way. So it's fast, but it is very good. So that's kind of all we have scheduled to tell you about. That's everything that your students are going to get in the freshman conference. Certainly, there are more things that are worth discussing with your son or daughter. In 40 minutes, that's pretty much what we hit. We are available whenever you guys have a question. Just give us a call. Any three of us. Our phones are always sometimes hooked up and working. Right, Mr. Ward? Right. And we're in our offices. We want you to email, to call, to ask the questions, especially first-time parents, because it can be hard, and there's a lot of information to gather. So feel free to give us a call, and we'll try our best to get back to you. Are there any questions that are more general for everyone to hear? And like Mr. Ward said, if you have an individual question, like kind of about your student, we can do that afterwards. Yeah.
With the Aspire test, do you know if it gives the same result the Explore did with regards to the cluster career suggestion?
It from what I've seen, you get a lot back from that. It's worth your son or daughter to try as hard as they can, because the information they get back is pretty good. The Planet Explorer was pretty good too. This looks to me like it will be equal to or better than that. Yeah.
It's all on computer too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you explained that really clear. It's on our school computer, so they can't use their own devices. That's why we had to split the two groups. And so half will be, like you said, the 13th, 14th, and the other half is 16th, 17th on our school computer.
Yep, and there will be a lot more. There will be mailings going home on that, on which day your student will test. Yeah, and we're looking at the possibility of next year having kids use their own devices for it. There's a lot of technical stuff with it right now, so we'll see. But yeah.
Way in the back, you have a question.
Yeah, what's the turnaround on that Aspire test?
I believe that December 2nd is the date that they're saying we'll get the results back. I can't guarantee that date. Please don't quote me on it. If it goes like some of the other dates, it may be a bit later than that. But yeah, we'll have them back as soon as we get them. We'll get them in your hands. Yeah, and it probably will be a PDF version of some sort. It's yet to be determined. This is the first year, but it sounds like we're not going to get a paper copy back. So we're going to probably be having to send out either print and mail to you, or to send out electronically somehow those results. Yeah, in the way back there.
How about students that don't have a study hall? What can they get?
The students should have, almost every student will have a study hall. If they don't have a study hall, that's like a very, very rare thing, and we can arrange to meet maybe before school or something else. But most kids are in, the most classes a student would ever take is 9, and that's only with administrative approval. And so chances are there's a study hall somewhere in there. It's probably an every other day study hall.
And sometimes we have students if that's a situation, well, they'll have lunch with us. We'll say, hey, you know what? Why don't we meet during your lunch period? Bring in, you can eat in front of me. But you know what? It's important that we do meet with them, and like Mr. Stuber said, either before school or after school.
Yeah, we make it work.
Our secretary keeps tabs of all the students that have had a freshman conference. So at the end, you know, we're going to get everybody. All right, because we have labels and we have a system, so everybody will have a freshman conference.
And then you had a question right there, yeah. Yep.
This Wisconsin Education Fair, is that something that you're recommending freshmen go to, or no? Is that
Yes, if you got nothing going that night, I would highly recommend it. You know, it's for sure sophomore students should go there. Freshmen, it'll never hurt. I guess I would recommend it. It's free. It's right here. Yeah, you have to register
Day before,
online.
yeah.
It's free.
By the day before, at
Yep,
least,
the
yeah.
day before.
Online, you go here.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
It's just it's time to start gathering information.
Yes.
Say 3 students at a time, 3 students with 1 counselor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, yeah,
I just put up the questions in direct contact.
Well, we kind of run a group. And, you know, part of it is we want the students to kind of speak out in the group, and sometimes it's a chance for them to meet other students. Obviously, if there's a student that has a personal problem, you know, then we'll talk about that later. But for the most part, it's 3 people. They get the chance to share what their goals are, what they want to do. You know, while the other 2 are working or something, the other 2 can hear it. Yeah, you know, it's been very good.
Yeah, and it's another connection too
Yep.
that the kids make with another student, because there are times where we have a freshman conference and there's one student in the freshman conference that still hasn't met anyone, you know, or doesn't really have any. So it's just another connection some of these kids are really in need of. Yeah, so it's good to do it.
the other 2 in that group might be laughing at that.
Yeah.
We do our best to make it
Yeah,
an equal environment where kids are sharing
And it becomes down to a time maintenance for our, you know, junior year, every junior student will meet individually with their counselor and hopefully with their parents. You know, and that's a lot of time. Freshman year, because we have so many other, we have all the testing and everything else going on, we just felt like groups were the best, but clearly we would be individual. You know. Yep.
Yeah.
Is Navion something that you're just starting with freshmen, or can older kids, like I have a junior kid, does he already have?
He can log in. He can log in. Same login. Have him search around. Yeah. It's open for everyone. It's just that not everyone knows about it right now. Don't tell anybody.
You have a question, sir?
Yeah, the GPA, question around GPA, for the AP courses, are they same for point or is it different?
GPA, for AP, we don't do any graded weights. Graded grades.
Graded grades, yep.
I'm sorry. So yeah, AP, if you get an A, it's an A, 4 points, you know, there's no weighted in our transcript.
Any other questions from the gallery? Way in the back.
Is class ranked on that transcript?
Good question. We do not class rank. Arrowhead does not class rank. There's a reasoning, because colleges are now looking at the holistic student. So they're looking at their GPA, their rigorous class load, their ACT score, how involved are you in your community, how involved are you in your school. So they're looking at the person as an individual, not as a percentile anymore. So we don't do it class rank.
We do show them a standard University of Wisconsin college application, and one question right on there. List your high school activities. All right, and so we kind of encourage, you know, kids, you got to get involved. I don't care what it is, get involved and, you know, and be a good number. So.
And then one thing about the weighted grades, to come back to that for a second, just so you guys know, especially for first-time parents, when colleges see an application with weighted grades, the first thing they do is de-weight those grades because they want to look at kids on a level playing field. So if we're not weighting grades, we're not disservicing our kids. The colleges are de-weighting right away when they get a transcript anyway. So, yeah. Yes?
If your child does some type of community service or some type of volunteering, is there a place on
Yeah, absolutely. And we hit on that too in the freshman conference. The resume is a great place to put that. It'll stay there until you take it off. So if you're doing volunteer service, that's a whole section on the resume in Naviance. So absolutely, and we do hit on that in the freshman conference.
Did you bother putting things on there, like even if it was just a 1 day for 4 hour type of thing, or is it like kind of a bigger 4 hour?
What we've seen is like if it's a freshman, freshmen don't always have too many things to put on there. So what we usually say is put it on there. You could always take it off later, But if it's all you have to put in that volunteering section, you might as well throw it on there. And if you do something else that would maybe surpass that or make it look like something smaller, then you can take it off when you do that other thing. Yeah.
Same related question. Do you track the volunteer hours? Is there a form or anything?
Do we track which part?
The volunteer hours?
No. That's for the student to do. Yeah. Yes.
Did you provide any statistics of what schools previous students have gone?
We're working on it. With a new program like this, actually, there's a feature in the Naviance program that will do that. But the problem is we need data, and we don't have it yet. So once we get the data, we'll provide it. It won't have any personal information. It'll just say you'll be a data point on a graph. Yes, he got in. No, he didn't. But that's in the future when we're all driving spaceships. Yeah. Anything else?
So we are starting October 6th, will be the first day for our freshman conferences. So expect a little bit, again, the students will be notified a week to a week and a half ahead of time. If they happen to be sick that day, it's okay, we will reschedule. It's no big deal. So again, just like Mr. Moore said, we make sure we catch everybody, we go to system that way.
Will that run through May then? I mean, how many months does it take?
First semester.
Oh.
Yeah, we're hoping, that's why we do it 3 at a time, to try to get it done that first semester. So at least we can, we try to do it before really winter break, but kind of depends on things like snow days and all of that stuff.
Yep.
The group, all 3 of the kids with their assigned counselor, or will
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
counselors?
Yeah, that question was, are they meeting with any 3 of us? No, it's the assigned counselor. So I'll have the A through G's, Mr. Ward, P through Z's, that's why H through O's. Other questions? You guys ask way more questions than the kids do. Yeah.
How are the Aspire test results this week? How will that be used here in Arrowhead? I mean, is it for your information as a parent and student? Is it used for?
Do you mean on our end? Do you mean like how we plan to use it? Or how we plan to tell you how to use it?
Is it anything that's used for Arrowhead classes or anything like that?
Yeah. Because if you recall, yes, great point. If you recall, we used Explore scores as predictors of success for our honors English and our AP Human Geography classes this year. So those are now going to be Aspire correlated scores. They are going to be correlated to the Explore from last year. But yes, good point. We are going to, but that's something we're working on. We're just getting a handle on it now. Because the Aspire scores come back from a scale of 400 to 499, don't ask me why. That's the range. So you can't say, oh, an Explore score of 21, and an Aspire score of 21 are the same. Yeah. Good question. Anything else? Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Yep.
We'll be here for a little bit.
Yep.